talk about men's mental health, the 4 Club is putting on a food drive. The Eagle basketball teams are back from the SODAC 16 games, and the debate team is back with another state title. Hi, I'm Kobe Dowling, and you're watching Eagle Zone. This week we started the show off bringing awareness to a significant subject. We have covered mental health before on the show. This time we look into men's mental health. Cooper Foster shares the story with us. Cooper?
Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death in 15 to 19-year-olds in the U.S. 75% of those suicides are male.
I reached a point in my life where I didn't feel like life was worth living anymore. I didn't really have any friends. I sat by myself at lunch. I spent all weekends in my room, and this manifested over probably 2 years. And I didn't feel like I was wanted. I didn't feel like I was loved. I didn't think I was adding to anyone's life, so I figured that I was going to subtract from it.
That's a high schooler here at Central. Per request and out of respect of the individual, his face is blacked out and voice altered. He wrote letters to his family members which would contain his final remarks.
Ultimately, I figured that I was gonna end it all. And I went out to the garage where my dad had his gun safe, and I went to go punch the code in, and it didn't work. But I figured that I just had a typo, so I went and punched it in. I probably tried it 5 or 6 times, and it didn't work. For some reason, my dad changed the code. I knew what the code was, I always did. And I knew what the code was because I looked over my dad's shoulder when we went target shooting, probably 2 weeks prior. I knew what the code was, and for some reason my dad switched the code, and that ultimately saved my life.
The boy in that interview is a teen, and according to the CDC, the rate at which kids ages 14 to 18 are committing suicide is 53% higher than it was in 1999. Men are also more likely to die by suicide than women. Brian Dannon is a counselor in the school district.
There's been a lot of, throughout society, men have been kind of told that they need to keep their emotions to themselves as throughout the years, that men don't cry, that also there's some shame that has been brought on people speaking up. People just are embarrassed to come forward, that they'll be seen as weak, or that people won't really believe them, people won't respect them anymore.
Dr. Justin Vandermeed is a psychiatrist at Avera's mental health unit here in Aberdeen.
Yeah, I can understand kind of the stigma and the shame, but I think it goes back to everybody at some point needs a helping hand. And when you're there, why not reach out to any resources that might be available to you?
Dr. Vandermeed mentions that the stigma seems to be slowly but surely going away, as he's seeing more males in his practice.
Talking about it, getting words out that it's okay to get help, it's okay to talk to people, it's a good thing to take care of yourself.
I think people don't realize that men do have feelings, and even though we try to be this manly idea, we still have thoughts and feelings, and we want to be looked at and felt that we have a good idea or we have value.
Dr. Vandermeed says young men he works with often face discontentment. They feel like they can't positively impact their environment, or they don't have a purpose.
You know, women, they oftentimes feel depressed when they feel unloved, unvalued, helpless, not useful. Men is oftentimes, they start to, prelude to depression is feeling trapped, feeling powerless, feeling helpless. And, they often respond differently to therapy.
A lot of times they don't know what's going to happen when you go to counseling. What are they going to do? What are they going to ask? How are things going to turn out? Is people going to find out? So can be some fear that comes along with getting help.
1 in 5 high school age kids think about suicide. Suicidal thoughts can lead to actions that may put an individual at harm.
And ultimately, suicide generally stems from a place of feeling hopeless. And, I think as long as a person has hope, as long as they feel like they have a chance of positively affecting their environment, changing it, changing their situation, getting themselves out of this hole, as long as they have a sense that things are going to get better, if anybody, as long as they feel like I'm going through this and it's just temporary and it will get better, then they can usually ride it out. And I think generally what everyone needs to know is that is the reality. hit rock bottom, there's only one place to go but up.
I would not say that I'm depressed anymore. I'm on meds and I see a therapist, but no, I'm super happy. I love myself. I love my situation. My life has gotten so much better. I promise that whoever's watching this, if you're struggling with it, if I did it, I know that you can do it. I know that it's tough, but life is worth living, and I can promise you that. Life is amazing. Life is beautiful, and there's no reason in high school to cut it short.
Talk with my clients a lot about differences between happiness and joy. You know, happiness, I think, is related to external situations, external environment. It's temporary, it's in the moment. I got an A in my test, I'm happy. Awesome. Joy is a sense of peace of mind, contentment of heart, despite whatever's going on. I lost my job. I don't know how I'm gonna pay next month's rent. But I know no matter what, everything's gonna be okay. I have my faith, I have my family, I know I'm loved, I know I'm valued. And I think a lot of people spend a lot of time looking for happiness. You know, they chase these instant gratifications. And especially in today's culture where, you know, everyone's on their phone, people are not tuned in. You know, my advice to a lot of people, unplug, tune into life.
Please reach out and get help. It takes more strength than to reach out, talk to somebody, talk to a friend, talk to a teacher, talk to a parent, talk to anyone. We have a crisis line. St. Luke's has a mental health unit, emergency room. We have a national crisis line, 988. You can dial anywhere, anytime on private time. So just reach out. There are people that care, people that will help you anywhere. So please reach out, and we're here to help you.
You can find someone no matter where you are. I mean, there's a great support system here. I mean, the students, the staff, the counselors. I feel like if you really need help, someone is willing to go out there and be a helping hand. And if you're in that place, I feel for you, and I just pray that you can really find someone and get out of that dark hole.
There is no shame in having mental illness as a man. According to Vandermeer, 1 in 8 men are in mental health services at any given time. Over a lifetime, 50% of men have been diagnosed with a mental illness. I'm one of them. I've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and the best choice that I've ever made was reaching out for help. So join the club and get some help.
Thanks, Cooper. I was sitting next to Cooper while he was making this, and he really worked hard putting together a good story that he thinks can help others. So I hope you take it seriously. If you want to talk to someone about your mental health, the school district contracts with mental health organizations in the community. Your school counselor can help lead you to those if you need that help. The high school and middle schools have clubs that push kindness and helping others. At Central, that club is trying to extend that kindness into the community. Eagle Zone's Preston Brake is here to explain. Preston?
The Salvation Army distributes food to people in the community who need it. That includes students in the Aberdeen School District. But that food supply is low, so a group at Central is trying to help.
Dr. Audemark sent out an email to some of us who are staff advocates for different clubs and said that the Salvation Army Food Bank was in dire need after the winter holiday. So she's like, why don't we do a food drive?
Students can help contribute to the food drive by bringing any non-perishable food items. You can help bring and leave the food in your advocate boxes, and the students responsible for the food drive will come pick them up. Those students are in the FOR Club, which stands for Friends of Rachel. Rachel was a student who attended Columbine High School and was the first student killed in the shooting in 1999. She was known for sharing her ideas of spreading kindness, and that's what the club wants to do.
It's mostly creating kindness through the community and making sure people have that way to reach out to us and being like, hey, can you help us with this one thing?
I am very proud of my students for putting forth this. I told them about the email, and they're like, why don't we do a food drive? And they put it together in like a week and a half, and I was very, very proud of them. They've put forth a lot of effort. They've shown up. They're really looking forward to seeing what we can do with this food drive.
The food drive extends to March 13th. The club will reward the top 3 super studies with prizes. The top prize is pizza, so make sure you bring your donations. Also, the FOR Club is asking you to check expiration dates to make sure you're not donating expired food.
Thanks, Preston. We'll be right back after these messages created by Media Production students. Welcome back. It's another week full of basketball and other competitions, including some state champion competitors from Aberdeen. Eagle Zone's Gavin Bitts joins us with the latest results from winter activities. Gavin?
Thanks, Colby. This is no surprise. The debate team comes back with another championship. That's 8 in a row for the debate team, and that's the 12th state title in the last 13 years. Eagle Zone's Joey Pierce joins us with details from an individual state champion and the coach. Joey?
That's right. Coach Kerry Conda and his team came home breathing a sigh of relief after their long year of hard work came to fruition. This might be their 8th year in a row, but Coach Conda says the title is special because of how much effort goes in.
We felt a huge amount of pressure coming in, especially with how well we did in the past, and then this year we had some really dominant key players, and I was just trying to keep that intensity all year long, and especially that last push of January, February, and March. It got a little challenging at the end.
That pressure mounted after day one, when Sioux Falls Jefferson was close and positioning itself to possibly beat Aberdeen.
Our kids usually have a good second day. We prep for that, and they just took it one round at a time, and capitalized on what they do best.
And that leaves your champion from Aberdeen Central, David Schlotty.
David Schlotty is one student who stepped it up at state and had an out-of-body experience when he ended up taking home the championship in domestic extem.
I felt like I was in someone else's shoes. I usually get 3rd place or 2nd, and so I usually just watch the champion walk off stage. So being the guy walking off stage with the award, it was a pretty different experience for once.
Senior Brianna Woolman was another champion at state. She came home with 2 first-place finishes.
It's a real legacy that the Aberdeen Central speech and debate team is and has created, and I'm really happy and proud to be a part of it and to extend it myself.
Most of the competitors at state were seniors, so it'll be intriguing to see where they go with their talent post-high school and how Conda's team will look next year with a batch of new varsity debaters.
Thanks, Joey. Congratulations on the debate team once again this year. And speaking of state champs, the girls' Cougar hockey team earned that title. They beat Sioux Falls in the championship match 1-0. That's 7 titles in the last 9 years. Hockey isn't a sanctioned school sport, but there are a lot of athletes from Aberdeen Central on the team. Congratulations, Cougars. The varsity boys team competes at state this weekend. Now to basketball, where both the boys and girls teams are back from their SODAC 16 matchups. We'll start on Friday, where the Golden Eagles girls went West River to face the Spearfish Spartans. The girls lose their final game of the year, 72-48. Next, we'll go on to Saturday, where the boys had a rematch with the Sioux Falls Roosevelt Rough Riders. They last played February 20th, where our boys lost by only 2. This time in the rematch, they headed up to Sioux Falls, where their season ended with a 54-36 loss. Now, since it's the end of the basketball season, we just wanted to say congratulations to both the boys and girls teams for having a good year.
That's all for this episode of Eagle Zone. You can always watch our stories whenever you want by scrolling down to the Eagle Zone section of the school district website. That's aberdeen.k12.sd.us. With Eagle Zone, I'm Kobe Dallin.